Good morning again. I'm just going to wait for the call to worship to come up, but it is a little bit about what Bruce just said in his prayer about we tend to live somewhat sloppy lives in our faithfulness, and yet God is faithful to us. Does it work, or should I just go ahead? I'm going to just briefly talk about the call to worship this morning. And for those of you who read the midweek focus, I'll flesh it out a little bit there this week. But Titus 2:14 says, Jesus gave his life to free us from every kind of sin, to cleanse us, to make us his very own people, totally committed to doing good. And then it says in Isaiah, behold, I have refined you. I have tried you in the furnace of affliction. And I just want to encourage you till you read on Wednesday. Sometimes we go through really difficult times, and God is not trying to crush us, but to refine us. And you know the story about melting gold is that every time the gold gets heated, dross rises to the surface and gets skimmed off. And then it's not done. Then it gets heated even hotter. And then the dross gets skimmed. And then the furnace is heated even hotter. And it goes through this about 7 times. And in the end, the goldsmith knows that the gold is pure when he can see his own reflection in the gold. And so this is such an apt description of what God is doing with us in these very difficult moments when we cry out, Lord, why or how long? He is not out to crush us, but to engage us in trust, in faithfulness, in loving him, in trusting what we can't see that lies ahead. And so I do want to encourage you. If you are in the midst of that, we're taking communion this morning. And if you are in a difficult time, you don't need to be at a perfect time, or you don't have to have everything in your life going perfectly in order to engage in communion. But you do need to come in humility and a willingness to make right those relationships that you can make right, to have peace as much as it depends on you, and truthfully, it just doesn't always depend on you, but as much as you can. So may the work of God's holy fire burning in you bring you closer to him. And don't quit, don't give up, don't give in. He is near. I'm going to move right into our announcements this morning and pray for us when we have our time of prayer requests. So, hi Viv. There is a hangout going on at Viv's house this morning who's watching, under 10 people watching at her house. And so if you want to join into that hangout time on Facebook, you can do that at home. And it starts around 10:30, 45 minutes before the sermon, and it's a time to grab a coffee and chit-chat and have a time of fellowship with each other before the service. Also, I want to remind you that on this Thursday here at church, we're having a congregational meeting. It starts at 7 o'clock. We are still able to meet here together. And so you don't need to be a member to join in the congregational meeting, but if we're taking any votes, it'll obviously be the members voting. But if you want to figure out how this church runs and what's going on and what's important to us, it'd be great for you to be able to attend. Also, there is a food gift exchange. Okay, it doesn't show up so well there, but it's in your announcements this afternoon. So you can either give food, receive food, or do both. And that will be happening, I think, next week from the 13th to the 19th. But if you'd like to sign up to do that and be part of a food gift exchange in the church, please be in contact with Cheryl. And you will see that in your announcements this afternoon. And so you can just email, or people are doing. Pardon me? There are little flyers for those of you here in church that you can pick up. Can you hold it up again? There you go. So Amy was just saying she's just folded them. She hasn't like smeared them all. She's folded them. You can pick one up and take it out with you if you want some more information. Thanks, Amy. And then we remind you again with Android phones. Any of you who are giving phones this Christmas, exchanging them or don't like yours, that's fine. But if you have Android phones, Bruce and I are going to collect. And when God opens the door for us, hopefully this summer, we're going to hopefully be heading back to the Congo. And as you know, that's super helpful for Max and Leisha to be able to give out. It allows people to stay connected. In some ways, they're way cheaper than us in Canada to have a phone, and they're one way to connect. So please feel free to drop off Android phones. And then the last thing is for Rebecca across the street is running Youth Unlimited. So if you have any extra food items that you want to drop off, they are collecting. It finishes Monday, and they're bringing it to the food bank. However, this is about New Year's Eve. There is a youth event going on from, I can't read the time on there, 7 o'clock on New Year's Eve, and it ends at 12:30 in the morning on January 1st. It's $5 to attend. It is bring as much, wear as much sparkle as possible, and there is an online waiver for anyone to fill out who is wanting to attend. So take a look at your announcements, and hopefully they'll be more clear as you see it there. Are there any other announcements that I missed? Dan? Single box spring, single mattress, please talk to Dan or Amy. Is that good? All right. Okay, I'd like to move into a time of taking prayer requests. We're going to pray for Isabel, who threw out 2 ribs in her back and is saying that she's fine, but I know she's not totally fine or she'd be up here today. Also, Adam Lindemann, he had wisdom teeth out 3 weeks ago. They got infected. He's in a lot of pain, and they haven't been able to get the infection under control. So please pray for Adam and Danica, but for his infection. I also want to update you. I was talking with Jen before the service, Jennifer Auer. She's, can I say 99.9%? It's done. So Jennifer has left her full-time teaching contract, part-time, full-time teaching contract, and she's going to be supply teaching starting in January. We've been praying for her to help her make this decision. She's really happy about it. There's a weight off her shoulders. So if we can just encourage Jennifer and her family, she's excited about the new season ahead, and I think, as I remember, feels a whole lot lighter. So we'll pray for Jennifer as well. Anything else? Isabel?